Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Kenny's Movie Palace for a special video. My friend Tim Talks Talkies has a challenge out there. Your top 25 movies of the 80s. Tim, this was hard. I was talking to my friend Sean from Movie Assault, and I am not kidding you. I've tore up this list 7 times, and I've changed it 7 times. So, this is going to be hard. So, I have some honorable mentions that just missed my list. This is number 25, A through H. So, okay, honorable mentions. Christmas Vacation. These did not make my list. Christmas Vacation. Terminator. This almost made my list, and being a huge Star Wars fan like I am, it almost knocked it off, but I just couldn't do it. Empire Strikes Back. 16 Candles. One of my favorites, and I think every guy in 1985 stopped the tape at that prime moment. Just One of the Guys. Stripes. One of my favorite movies that is like really criminally underrated. It's a great rom-com from 1986, About Last Night, with Rob Lowe. Jim Belushi steals the movie with some of his lines, and that's prime Demi Moore time too, without the fake boobs. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. This one almost snuck in too. Commando. I watched this so many times when it came out, and I loved that movie, but it just did not make my list. Here's a surprise. My brother's going to kill me for this. The Goonies. It just didn't make my list. I have too many more. And my last one that I really thought hard about was The Breakfast Club. Okay, so that's the honorable mention ones. So here's my top 25. Okay, first one is from 1980. The movie's Arthur with Dudley Moore. I used to drive my mom crazy when this movie came out, and I used to run around the house imitating Arthur. And it was probably not a movie I should have seen when I was 10, but I did. So it was on HBO one Saturday night, and Mom's like, "Oh, this looks good," and I'm like, "Yeah, let's watch it." And then she was pleasantly like, "Get in the next room." It's like, no, it's almost over. So, yeah, that movie could never be made today. So that was number 25. Number 24 is Caddyshack, classic comedy. Number 23, I'll never forget. Me and my brother rented this when it came out in the video store. And one of my other picks, we rented at the same time to get a double feature. Number 23 is Revenge of the Nerds. I think we watched that 3 times that night. Especially the Lambda Lambda Lambda. We still sing the song together, when I see my brother. So that was number 23. Number 22, Beverly Hills Cop. This was almost Empire, but I put Beverly Hills Cop because it had more meaning to me. Once you see my list, you'll get there's a lot of comedy on here. Number 21, and this is another one that when we rented it, we actually seen this in the movies at Deptford 6. They played the third ending, okay, the Mrs. Peacock one. And when we got it at the video store, they had all 3 endings. So it was like, that was pretty cool to see the other 3 endings. But I think the Mrs. Peacock one, where Mr. Green goes, "I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife." So Clue is number 21. Number 20 was another one that we rented a lot as a kid. And this was here in Philly. It was made here in Philly. And my mom worked 4 blocks away, and when she would get off the bus, she didn't see anything, but she just seen like them filming, especially the scene when Dan Aykroyd comes out of the building. And number 20, of course, is Trading Places. Number 19, I seen this at Deptford 6 when it first came out in 1987, and no lie, we can quote this word by word. And when I was working in restaurants, me and our kitchen manager used to quote this line for line all night, and it kept the night moving. And it's number 19 is The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Number 18, this movie has really sentimental meaning to me. When my mom was a secretary, she used to work for Franklin Institute Research Center. And me and my brother used to go on Saturdays with her to work because she had like extra, she would take up like extra work from the engineers and stuff like that for extra money. So me and Chris used to go to Franklin Institute and just like a free pass. And one of my mom's friends worked at the McDonald's that was in the Franklin Institute at the time. I don't know if it's still there or not. This was the 70s. So we used to be treated by a hamburger, a small Coke and fry, in there. And when we go to mom's work, it looked exactly down to the typewriters and everything. My number 18 movie is 9 to 5. I love that movie. Every time I seen it, I thought of going to work with my mom on Saturdays. Number 17, Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. Classic comedy, still makes me laugh today. I just had a lot of fun with that. We also, a lot of these movies that you'll see in here, we went to see in the movies. So that also has special sentimental value too. Number 16, another one we seen opening weekend in the movies, 1986, Money Pit with Tom Hanks. So funny. I think everybody that's owned a house in their life has experienced that one way or another. Now, number 15, I chose this because this came first. And it's the first National Lampoon's Vacation, 1983, with Chevy Chase. Absolutely hysterical. I remember watching it on HBO, and we were just like dying. Especially me and my brother's favorites, of course, John Candy. Sorry, folks, the park's closed. Musha told you out front. It just makes me funny. And the dog pissing on the picnic basket, that always makes me laugh too. Number 14, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. What can you say about that? It's just a classic, and John Candy means a lot to this list, as you'll see. Number 13, another one that we went to see opening weekend in 1982, Mr. Mom. I think I've watched this probably like the fifth most, because anytime that you're down or something, you just pop it in and it just makes you laugh. Especially when he comes in with the, when he's trying to impress Martin Mull's character, and he with the 2x4. 22, 23, whatever it takes. I'm probably wrong with the numbers, but you know what I mean. Number 12, another movie I seen opening day in 1987, Adventures in Babysitting. Absolutely love this movie. Elizabeth Shue was and still is my first crush. Absolutely great movie. Makes me laugh. I just watched it last week again. So funny. Of course, Disney Plus, did their magic on it and edited it. So that's why we're physical media people. So you keep the original on hand. Number 11, another movie. This is a funny story. We had wanted to go see Witchboard. This is a 1987 movie. We wanted to see Witchboard. And it was a midnight showing of it. And Witchboard was sold out. So I had heard about this, from like Siskel and Ebert. And I said to my buddies that we were coming from work, I said, hey, let's go see this movie. And they're like, oh, I wanted to go see Witchboard. Let's just go to Denny's. And we were like, no, let's go see that. So begrudgingly, the three other guys went in. When they came out, they were just blown away how great it was. Number 11, The Untouchables. We've seen a midnight showing at Deptford 6, when they used to have the midnight showings on Friday and Saturday nights. All right, number 10. Now, this probably didn't make anybody's top 10, let alone probably their list. But I watched this It was 1987. I seen it also in the movies, but I rented the hell out of it, and I had it on Laserdisc, VHS, DVD. I don't have it on Blu-ray yet, but waiting for the price to come down. But I remember the advertisements in Deptford 6 saying moonlighting star, and it just was like, oh, okay, this is good. You know, I didn't hear about it until like I seen it on Siskel and Ebert. But Blind Date is my number 10 movie of the 80s. Absolutely love the movie. I watched it, I swear, like almost every day for like 2 months at one span. I love it. I can quote it. Just a really funny movie. Number 9, 1980, The Blues Brothers. Love that movie. Absolutely funny. And everybody probably knows this, but if you notice, the only time that Belushi takes off his glasses is when he's talking to Carrie Fisher in the tunnel, and Aykroyd never takes his glasses off in the whole movie. So I thought that was kind of like a little cool side note. Now, number 8, this was going to be a little bit higher, but I couldn't balance it up, and this was just like freaking me out. This was another one I seen opening weekend, 1987, and this was like, you've seen him in Moonlighting, you see star of Blind Date, and then it said in his first action movie, it's Die Hard. And I always wanted to find that poster and keep it, because it was like, you've seen him on Moonlighting and you loved him in Blind Date. So I always thought that was funny. So that's number 8, Die Hard. Number 7, this is another one we seen. We took our mom for Mother's Day to go see it, and just love this movie. It's the month of July, so it's time for the regatta. So it's Summer Rental. Number 7 is Summer Rental with John Candy. Great movie, so quotable. Me and my brother do the popcorn bit, and we go like that with Richard Crenna. So yeah, Summer Rental is just a great movie. Number 6, the night that Chris and I went to the video store in 1984, we rented Revenge of the Nerds, which was number 23, and this one, number 6, Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks. I'm not lying to you. I watched this sophomore year of high school every day after school. My uncle came over with his other VCR, and we taped it off of the tapes, and I watched this, I'm not lying, every day. My brother will attest to this. Every day after school. And I know it line for line. I just watched it again last week, and it just brings back really good sentimental memories. Plus, it's funny as hell, too. When he hits the tennis ball over the cage and Cleveland wins the pennant. I think that's funny. Number 5. Okay, now we're getting to the ones that were set in stone. These did not change. Okay, the other ones did. Number 5, Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is probably the most perfect action movie that will ever be made and will, never be duplicated. There's not a wasted scene in it. It's just a perfect movie. Absolutely perfect movie. Number 4, seen this opening night. It opened on my birthday, June 23rd, 1989. I think everybody knows what this is. Batman 89. I think this is bar none the greatest Batman movie. Keaton is my Batman. I grew up watching Adam West, but Michael Keaton is Batman to me. 1989's Batman. That weekend, I think we've seen it like 6 times at the theaters. And it's just a great movie. I watched it last week again. It was on HBO Max. So it's just perfect. You can't get any better than that. Number 3, I think everybody will know my other 2, but number 1 will be a shocker to nobody that knows me. Number 3 is Ghostbusters. Remember seeing this in the movies? I think about, of the 25, I think 24 I seen in the movies. So that, you know, because that was the only way that you could see movies back then until you got a VCR, and we didn't get a VCR until like 84. So Ghostbusters is number 3, classic comedy. Nothing, you know, Bill Murray is so great in that. I just watched Afterlife this week. I got a little teary eyed with the Harold Ramis you know, CGI stuff in it, but nothing compares to the original. Nothing. Number 2, Back to the Future. I seen this on a double bill when they used to have like the 2-for-1 movies, and it was Back to the Future and Teen Wolf that night. Teen Wolf's another one that we watched a lot, but didn't make my list or honorable mentions. But Back to the Future is just a perfect movie. Great movie. Love it. I still watch it today. My nieces were like really excited to watch it because they had never seen all 3 of them when I was down in Florida. So they went and they watched it with me. So yeah, it's really a great movie. It's a perfect, and I love Michael J. Fox. Secret of My Success is another one I watched a ton growing up too. And my number 1, if you know me, I love this movie. We watched it when it came. We went to the movies, and I told you in another video, they had this thing in the Courier Post called Buck Bucks, and you would cut it out, and you could get a discount either off of movie tickets or concessions. I forget what it was, but that night we went to see it, and we went to see it 3 times, and a total of 6 times that weekend. I've had it on Laserdisc, DVD. I have it on Blu-ray and VHS. It's my favorite movie of all time. Me and my brother can sit and recite it. One time the captions got stuck on French, and me and Chris were just reciting it to my mom, and my mom was getting annoyed, and she goes, "Fix the goddamn thing." So my number 1 is Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck is my favorite movie of all time. Star Wars is 1A, but Uncle Buck is just I think it's the greatest movie of all time. People might not think that, but for me, it was just so funny. I mean, John Candy is so great in that movie. When he goes through the whole thing, hey, I stopped smoking cigarettes. Yeah, I'm on the cigars now. It's like a 10-year plan. It just makes me laugh. So other people, I have watched other people's videos, and Uncle Buck's not even on the list. But for me personally, this is my favorite movie of all time. People just laugh at me because they're thinking, oh, The Godfather, or you know, and I'm like, no, Uncle Buck, and they just like laugh at me. But that's just mine. As you can see, there was probably about like 20 comedies in the top 25, but that's what I grew up watching besides Star Wars over and over again. And Star Wars couldn't make the 80s, although Empire almost did. But yeah, Uncle Buck is number 1, folks. And I do have pancake power. So, yeah, so Uncle Buck is my number 1. So, guys, thank you. This was a painstaking list. It literally, I'm not kidding you, this took me forever, and I kept on changing. I actually changed my list last night before making it again. So, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if I'm nuts for having Uncle Buck number 1. But I love that movie. It just makes me laugh so hard every time I watch it. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, Tim, for this challenge. I really appreciate it. And I'm enjoying to watch the community's top 25 also. I watched Miranda's. I watched Brian's. I mean, Brian the Horror Punk. I watched Sean's, Dell. So yeah, I'm just enjoying watching it, and I just think it's really cool what the different tastes everybody has in their movies too. So I wasn't a big horror fan until like about 3 years ago when I got Shudder, so I didn't have any horror movies on there. But yeah, so that's it. That's my top 25. Tell me what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share it with everybody. So, and Tim, thank you very much for this challenge. All right, guys, have a great day. See you later.